I want to introduce a very special guest. Uh, when I first met him, I was a journalist, and I took him on an interview. He was then just getting his position as rapporteur on Metaverse for the European Council. And after a 2-hour discussion about the Metaverse, I found maybe the most passionate supporter of Web3. He's not just understanding the technology, but he's trying to promote the technology and to make his colleagues in the Parliament and in the European Parliament to understand the benefits and the possibilities that come with blockchain and artificial intelligence as well. And the best example, I think, it's one time he told me he was in the Parliament and everybody was talking about if blockchain and AI are here to stay. And while they were talking, he wrote an entire speech with artificial intelligence and he presented that speech in front of everybody. And obviously, they were left speechless. So I want to invite on stage Andi Cristea, rapporteur for Metaverse in the European Council.
Hi everybody. It seems like I'm standing between you and your lunch, so I will try to be swift. I try not to bore you with my presentation, and I will start by telling who I am and what I'm doing. So my name is Andi Cristea. I'm a member of the Romanian Parliament. In the same time, because Romania is member of the Council of Europe, I am a Romanian member of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. And in this framework, I have two institutional positions. I'm the General Rapporteur for Science and Technology of the Council of Europe, and in the same time, I'm dealing with this report. I'm the Rapporteur on Metaverse. So, Rapporteur. Rapporteur is a person, a member of the Parliament, who writes a report. Okay? And my report, when it will be ready and it will be voted and amended, will represent a set of recommendations and good practices for all the 46 member states of the Council of Europe, covering almost 700 million European citizens. So I have this presentation. You see here the member states of the Council of Europe, all the EU member states, plus other countries in Europe, which for the time being are not members of the European Union. And this is the challenge. This is the main challenge from our perspective. The Council of Europe will look at the new emergent technologies through the lenses of our job description. And our job description is promoting democracy, protecting human rights, defending the rule of law. This is something we have to take a good look at. This is a graph which presents in a very distinct and obvious manner what happened with the internet. So for almost thousands of years, the whole humanity had around 300 million authors. People writing content, people creating content. We all know what happened in the last decades. The internet bloomed, and for the time being, we have almost 5 billion authors. And many of you, I guess, you are in this business of creating content. And this is not an easy thing because creating content means creating and disseminating information. And information, once it's processed by us, by our brain, it creates instructions for behavior. If you consume different information, you will have different behavior. And we are looking at this reality, and may I present the author of this magnificent book who coined this concept, Andrei Miroshnichenko, and I highly encourage you, if you'd like to read a book, a good book, to search for this one. If I were to quote Ray, a little bit of context, if you care to listen, because we find ourselves in a shit position. This is the shit position. The problem is all our institutions were forged and were created in an industrial era. Nowadays, it goes without saying, we are not living in an industrial or a post-industrial era anymore. The public is digital while the institutions are industrial, and consensus can be achieved from silicon. You no longer need a bunch of people in the same room to reach consensus. You have consensus with blockchain, with distributed ledger systems. And I'm sure you know better than I do about these new technologies. Back then, people were being shaped by institutions, by the institution of school. Nowadays, ourselves, and especially the young generation, is being shaped by platforms. Back then, the flow of information was controlled from above. It's no longer the case. Everybody has a mobile phone in his or her pocket and can disseminate, can create content. And the metaphor of pyramid has been replaced by the network. Digital age can be seen as the victory of the audio-video content or motion picture over the printed words. And this, once again, is not an easy thing because democracy, when was built, when was created, was a product of printed words and literacy. Of course, via education, through education. And this is a question we should keep in mind. Will the new tech enable a reversal of literacy and retrieval of orality in the form of digital orality? I know this is highly conceptual, but this is a question I need and we all need to address. And this is another question we have in our mind. And the problem is all our institutions are expert. Institutions are expert. All people working in institutions are experts dealing with the written text. And they know how to operate in an environment characterized by literacy. And in the same time, they operate with arguments. What is happening today? It's the other way around. We have audio-video content, we have digital orality, and of course, those intense emotions. I was mentioning earlier that the institutions don't know how to deal with this new reality. And those are two articles. What happened? It was in 2022. So basically, the European Union launched this global gateway. It's a policy, a European policy. And they said, let's promote this in the metaverse. And they've spent almost €500,000 organizing in the so-called metaverse an event. Only 5 people showed up. This is the reality. The institutions don't know how to deal with these new technologies. Those are the values we keep very close to our heart at the Council of Europe, and these are the new technologies coming to get us. And if you are curious enough, you can see the links in that QR. It's about artificial intelligence. This one is about facial recognition, autonomous systems, and all those papers were prepared by the Council of Europe. And if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I very much encourage you to do this. Okay, metaverse. What is this animal I'm talking about? And when I'm talking about metaverse, I'm referring to society. And basically, our society is a complex, adaptive system. And each time a new technology comes into our town and changes or disrupts the flux of interactions, the whole system changes. Basically, the whole society changes. And this is the main lens through which we are looking at this new technology. Now, this is an expert report which was prepared for me in helping draft my report. And this is something you should read if you are interested in the metaverse. You have the QR code on the slide. And I encourage you to read the last 3 lines from this slide, because it's of paramount importance, the definition of the metaverse, or the so-called metaverse. We use Web 3.0, we use the concept of immersive realities, we use spatial computing. Apple is using this concept with Apple Vision Pro. And once again, it's a very insightful report. You should read it if you are interested. And this is another report which was prepared for me by the IEEE. IEEE is an acronym. It's Institute for Electric and Electronic Engineers. So this is the body which, at the level of our world, makes the standards in terms of technology. Once again, you have the QR code. This is a must-read if you want to find out more about what's happening. In my presentation today, I will not go down the rabbit hole of technicalities. I'm keeping this perspective about the human society, democracy, human rights, and this new technology. It was September last year when we had a hearing in front of the Committee of Ministers in Strasbourg. And you see me there together with some experts from IEEE. Actually, there was a body of 50 experts working on this report. And you have it here. This is something you should read out loud, because for the time being, there is a lack of consensus about the definitions. And I was mentioning the fact that there were 50 experts working on this report. And they should have prepared it in June last year. And they told us in June, we are not ready, we are not there yet. We will give you in September. In October, I think they have finalized it. And the main reason why it took so long, they lack consensus. 50 experts discussing between themselves what is the definition of the metaverse. Okay, let's try another definition, but this time in reference to what we already have, the internet. We are all familiar with the internet, and if the internet is a medium of interaction between people as users with content, with digital content and computational processes, the metaverse is an enhanced medium of interaction between users, not necessarily people, pay attention. Users and avatars with AI possibly behind them, with upgraded and enhanced content and, of course, processes. If you want to go down another rabbit hole, I suggest this brilliant person. His name is Matthew Ball. He was working at McKinsey, and he is and he was one of the pioneers of the metaverse. And from his perspective, those are the main enablers of this new emergent technology. Nowadays, from the perspective of the institutions, of the regulators, this is an extract from 2017. We were, at that moment, aware of the fact that it is becoming increasingly difficult to catch up with the speed of technology, with everything is what is happening. And now I will give you some visual elements to try to form an opinion about the way complexity is changing, and all those technologies are influencing the flux of not only information but interaction. You cannot have interaction without information, and it goes in both ways. It goes without saying, information. I don't feel the need to add too many words over this slide. Here we have two simple roads. The one on the left, it's a simple one. The other one has a double line in the middle of it. That is the regulation. That is social reality, elements of social reality. Okay? You need that in order to have complexity and regulated interaction in our society, not only on the streets and when talking about traffic, so on and so forth. So this is simplicity, this is complexity. What do we need to get from simplicity to complexity while maintaining the society stable, once again? Change is not necessary progress. Progress and change are different animals. And my take is, and I will try to drive my point home, in order to, this should be backwards, in order to come from here, we need regulations. We need regulations, we need gatekeepers. We need all kinds of elements which are putting order into this complexity. This is our take. Of course, there are a lot of questions, difficult questions. Myself, I don't know how to address those questions, and nobody knows for sure. At the end of the day, it will be a trial and error process. It will be a set of iterations. We take what is working and we try to replicate it, and what constitutes mistakes, we try to put it aside and, of course, avoid it. This is another set of possible conclusions for my presentation. The metaverse is a socially constructed and a computationally mediated concept. And most importantly, predictions about the future developments can only be made speculatively. I rest my case here, but I would like to ask you one question, and this will be my final remark. What is our goal? I mean, for real, in 20, in 30, or in 50 years? In 50 years from now, what is our goal? I mean, do we want to be the richest men and women from the cemeteries? Or we really care about what kind of society we leave behind for our children? I'm not being pathetic. I'm just asking you. Just think about that. Thank you.